Yo, what's up viewers, it's your boy Blaze Hollow coming at you again after a long break, giving you this new video of what if Deku had Dragon of the Darkness Flame. But before we get into that, there's a few things I need to bring to your attention. First off, I need to let all of you know that these uploads will not be consistent because of my work schedule and that the things I need to do at home, so I'm sorry about that in advance. Second, I have to know that all of you are betrayed knowing that I'm coming back to you with one of a series that you probably forgot about, but I did not want to start this off with a heavy hitter because I feel like it would get poor reviews. Third, to all of those who actually saw the poll that I put up earlier today that had 2 new series on them, do know that they will be made. I already have their scripts ready, but I decided that since the poll voted for this one, that this is what will be started with. Fourth, and finally, I do hope to all those who actually stuck around and waited for me that this will be worth the wait. So with all that said, let's finally start this video and get into it. Start the intro.
Don't think you can become a hero.
9 months and 3 weeks have passed, leaving only a week before the entrance exam as Izuku, Bakugo, Momo, and Tsuyu were standing on the opposite side of the beach staring at their fathers, wondering what today's training was going to be like until Yusuke stepped forward. Alright, today should be the last lesson with us, but don't think that we're here to celebrate. The 4 of us were talking last night and came up with an interesting final test for the 4 of you. Bakugo raised an eyebrow in confusion about the final test part. Final test? Are you saying after this we learned everything that we can from the 4 of you? Izuku thought about it for a little bit before anything else could be said. No, I don't think that's what it means, Bakugo, but I don't fully understand it myself, but I do feel like we're in for a world of hurt. Tsuyu looked at both of the boys who seemed to have different opinions about the situation. I think we need to be more concerned about the fact of what happens if we fail this final test. Momo's eyes shot wide open as she realized the hidden meaning behind this test. If we fail against them, they won't let us go to the entrance exam. As soon as they heard that statement, all 4 of them started to freak out, thinking about all the possibilities of them failing against whatever their fathers put them up against. But that's when Karama stepped forward as he was impressed with his daughter figuring out the hidden meaning behind the test. That's right, if you fail this test, we are not allowing you to take the UA entrance exam this year, along with any other entrance exam. We all know this might be a little bit extreme, but we need you to realize the serious situation that you're about to put yourselves into. Izuku had a determined look on his face. And what exactly is this test? Can we get some details on it? EA stepped forward with a smirk on his face. It's very simple. The 4 of you will play rock, paper, scissors, and whoever wins out of your group gets to pick who they get to fight against the 4 of us first. So count your blessing. That means you don't have to go toe-to-toe against your own father, so you get to choose which one you get to fight against. Kuabara had his arms folded in front of his chest with a serious expression on his face. But do know whoever you pick will also determine your character, and see how you're going to take the easy road or the high road will all be determined on you. As long as you win your match, we will not stop you from taking the entrance exam, but definitely will let us know how we should think about you in the future. Yusuke was getting excited as he was starting to stretch out his arms. So hurry up and start playing your game of rock, paper, scissors. I'm already warmed up and I want to see which one of you is going to fight against me. Each one of the kids were actually a little bit relieved knowing that they didn't have to go up against their fathers, but they did now have to decide which one was going to be the best matchup and which one was going to be the best for their character. As they started to play a game of rock, paper, scissors, it took 3 matches for them finally to have a winner to come out, which was Izuku, who had a proud smirk on his face. It looks like I win and I choose to fight against you, Yusuke Urameshi. From all the stories I've heard, you're supposed to be the strongest out of the 4, so if I beat you, that means that I'm the strongest out of all of you. EA chuckled in amusement knowing that his son was just like him, wanting to go up against strong opponents to prove that he is the best out of everyone. Well, do you see that, detective? It looks like the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Will my son actually be able to defeat you? Yusuke walked up to Izuku with a smile on his face. You seem a bit confident. Either you have some kind of technique that I don't know about, or you're just relying too much on the dragon and its dark flames. Izuku smiled as his flames went around his fingertips like claws. No, it's not that I rely on the dragon. It's just something within my blood is telling me that you'll be the most entertaining, and I have so much to prove. So are we going to continue talking, or are we going to start throwing fists? Everybody else got to a distance, not wanting to get caught up in the crossfire between Izuku and Yusuke as they started to stare at each other, seeming to be saying 1,000 words between each other's eyes. As Hiei shot a small black flare into the sky, signaling the match to begin, and without even skipping a beat, the both of them went straight for each other and punched right at each other's face, sending them both back 10 feet. Izuku's head was routed from the strike as he shook himself back to his senses, starting to gather flames around his fingertips to make his claws once again. I call this my black dragon talons. As he rushed forward, trying to slash into Yusuke's flesh, only for him to dodge at the last second like it was nothing. What's up, man? Are you afraid to get slashed by my claws? Yusuke smiled as he was impressed by the boy's quick motion and control over the flames, but was getting sick of dodging as he saw an opening in the boy's stance and kicked him right in the ribs, sending him flying into the ocean. It's not that I'm afraid of your claws, kid. I just don't feel like walking back in my underwear because of those black flames of yours. Bakugo's eyes went wide as he saw that kick and how much force was behind it, as he was thanking his lucky stars that he didn't have to fight against Yusuke. Don't you think that was a little bit overboard? Izuku could be dead from that strike, especially since you launched him into the ocean. Yusuke just looked back at Bakugo with a major frown on his face. If you truly think that that one kick is going to kill your friend, then you truly do underestimate him. Bakugo was about to say something else, only to notice that steam was coming out of the ocean within a few seconds. Then Izuku came leaping out of the water as he landed onto the sand, coughing up a little bit of water and holding on to his damaged side. But after a few seconds, he stood back up onto his feet, ready for more. If that's the best you can do, I feel bad that I'm not fighting my father. His punches are at least 100 times stronger than that. Yusuke started to chuckle in amusement, watching the boy and his little shaky footing trying to act all big in front of him. Oh, trust me, that's not my best, but I did not feel like killing you, because if I did, I would never hear the end of it from your father, or more importantly, from your mother. Izuku had a glare in his eye, trying to act intimidating, while on the other side he was worried, knowing that his body couldn't take one more kick like that, because he probably would end up in the hospital in the end of it. Well, don't hold back on my accord. If I die doing what I love, which is fighting to the very end for my beliefs, but I'm not going to let someone like you stand in my way of becoming a hero. But both of them locked eyes one more time as they both charged at one another, throwing punches and kicks so hard, causing the wind around them to make a small vortex. After about 5 minutes of their attacks, dodging and weaving between each other, they jumped back, leaving 10 feet between them as Yusuke started channeling spirit energy into his index finger, while Izuku was charging his own spirit energy around his hand, causing more intense black flames to start showing itself. I think our next attack should be what ends this entire match. Yusuke smiled at the idea as he was enjoying this entire sparring match. Fine by me, let's end this with one big bang. Izuku was the first to launch off his attack of the Dragon of the Darkness Flame at its max power that he was able to reach, as the sand underneath the black dragon was starting to turn quickly into glass as it charged towards Yusuke. But as soon as the dragon got close to Yusuke, fired his spirit gun straight into the dragon's mouth, causing a massive boom, and the sand and dust blew into the air, making a massive smoke screen. As a scream of agony could be heard from within the smoke, as everybody was on the edge of their seat, wondering from the sidelines who won and what was going to be the outcome of this battle, only to see Yusuke on the ground. As he was holding up his hands with a cheeky smile on his face, as everybody was confused, only to see a black-like blade substance by his throat, revealing that Izuku had won the match. As Izuku's body was completely battered and bruised, everybody was in shock except for the adults, causing Momo to want to know what happened, as Karama spoke up, very impressed by the battle that he just watched. It's quite simple. Both of the attacks collided. Izuku forgot the idea of using just straight out spirit energy in the dragon, but instead used the blast as a chance to get close to his opponent and capture him, and then used the flames like a small blade to stop the match. But of course, under normal circumstances, Yusuke would have easily seen this coming, but instead he was already very enough impressed by the battle to let Izuku have a passing grade. Momo was shocked, realizing that Izuku had to run through the entire blast, risking his life just to get a chance to capture his opponent. He's completely reckless. He gambled his life on one chance, and if he would have failed, he wouldn't have been able to fight anymore. Why would he do something like that? Bakugo spoke up as he was listening in on the entire conversation. It's because that's what he does. He's willing to risk everything for his convictions. It means a lot to him to become a hero, so it means he'll gamble his own life if it means he'll get a chance to become a hero someday. Hiei walked over to his son, realizing that he was unconscious, standing on his feet, which brought a smile to his face, knowing that his son was a true warrior. So with this, my son has not only proven that he knows what it takes to become a hero, he also has the spirit of a hero. Yusuke smiled as he picked up the boy and bring him over to the the sideline so he can rest. Yeah, no kidding, he reminds me a lot of Yuhi. I can remember a lot of times in my life where you would sacrifice your body and mind just to get a clean shot in on your opponent. All of the kids were still in shock watching the few-minute battle. Even though it was quick, it felt like it was going on for hours from how intense it was. Once they snapped out of it, they began to play their game of rock, paper, scissors again. This time, Momo won as she stepped forward looking at the 3 remaining people that she had to choose from to fight. Momo was looking at the 3 of them, weighing her options, knowing that Hiei didn't believe in mercy and there was a chance that she'll probably end up in the hospital covered in third-degree burns. He then looked over at her father, realizing that he was a way better tactician than she was, leaving her with only one option left, which was going to be a battle of strength, but she believed that she could win using intelligence. I challenge you, Kuabara. Kuabara got into his position on the beach, ready for his match, creating a standard spirit sword. Alright, don't hold back. I'll try my best not to hurt a lady too badly. Momo takes a deep breath as she manifests a sword and shield as she kicks up a little bit of sand as she gets into her position on the beach. If you hold back against me because I'm a girl, not only does that make you sexist, it also makes my entire fight with you pointless. Kuabara got into his stance, staring completely at his opponent with a cheeky smile on his face. Alright, but when you get hurt, don't come crying to me later about your loss. A black flame got shot into the sky between them, signaling for the match to begin as they both charge at each other with blades. After 3 swings, Momo's sword starts to shatter as she falls back. She starts to rely on her shield as they take a swing, sending her sliding across the beach. Kuabara was chuckling as he was entertained by Momo's swordsmanship and quick thinking about using the shield. Is that seriously all you got? I'm disappointed. Where is your strategy and skill? I thought since you were your father's daughter you would have all of his good traits, but I guess I was wrong. You didn't pick up on any of his good traits as you were younger, did you? Momo got up slowly, making it seem like she was hurt more than she actually was as she was chuckling a little bit to herself. If you think that I'm letting you throw me around like it's no big deal without a plan, that's where you're wrong. You might want to check out where your feet are. Kuabara was concerned hearing this as he looked down at the small plastic ball that just jumped out of the sand and actually bit onto his arm as he was trying to swipe it off. It blew up like a flashbang right in his face, blinding him. Ow, my eyes, dang it. Using your spirit energy on a flashbang to get it to blow up in my face so I wouldn't be able to see is just plain dirty. Momo smiled as she started to charge and making a metal staff halfway, ready to slam it down on Kuabara's face. It's just one of the many different traps that I have set up for you. I just didn't think that the first one would actually take you completely out of commission. Bakugo and Tsuyu were both surprised on how well the plan was actually working, but then they both looked over at Hiei and Karama, who didn't seem to actually worry or even surprised that this happened. As we cut back to Momo about to swing down the metal pipe on Kuabara's head, he caught it like Kuabara could see even though his eyes were shut, only for him to give a powerful gut punch to Momo, causing her to go rolling in agony in the sand. I'm not going to lie to you, your plan was brilliant, relying on your spirit energy to reanimate objects that you create. Even the flashbang to my face was brilliant, but where your whole plan went wrong is because I can see you through your spirit energy. I have the best sensory out of everybody in the entire group. Momo was breathing heavy as she was actually now in a lot of trouble because that punch actually hurt her so bad that she was shaking and struggling to get onto her feet. That was a miscalculation on my part. I didn't realize that you were the censor of the group, so that means you actually know where all my traps are and you allowed yourself to be hit by the flashbang. Kuabara smiled as his eyes were still shut. That's correct. I wanted to give you a false sense of security, allowing you to get close to me so I can give a sneak attack and make your entire plan seem useless. Momo started to panic a little bit, trying to think on how she can use her landmines that are still in the sand, even though her opponent can see them with his spiritual energy. But that's when she got an idea on how she can actually win this entire match. Just to let you know, what I'm about to do isn't really hero-like, but it falls under a situation where I gotta do things to make sure that people are safe. Kuabara was confused as he started to notice Momo run around him in a vortex while she was also dragging the metal pipe in her hand as it was causing sand to start to kick up into the air a little bit, making a dust cloud. Even though he could still sense her, the sand was actually causing a little bit of an issue as Momo noticed her opponent was getting a little bit confused. She then threw the metal pipe at Kuabara, who quickly deflected it as she then makes a stun gun, running right at him, stabbing it right into his chest and using all the voltage to shock him with everything. Kuabara screams out in agony. from the stun gun as he then quickly grabs Momo and throws her right off of him, slamming her to the ground. Damn, that was actually pretty good, throwing off my sensory by putting more spirit energy into the pipe. It seemed like you were charging at me when in reality you were actually coming from behind to shock me with the stun gun. Momo was smiling as she noticed her opponent was stumbling backwards a little bit while he was giving her a lecture. Well, it was definitely worth it because now you've stepped right into checkmate. Kuabara was starting to get his vision back, a little bit blurry, but was getting some images as he saw Momo holding a detonator in her hand as he looked down to see that Momo pressed the button as a landmine underneath him blew him up. Launching Kuabara into the air, Momo used the last of her strength and her fat lipids to make one last thing, which was a frying pan as she jumped up into the air, smashing Kuabara in the face with it, making him knock out. I can't believe it, I won. He dropped to her knees completely exhausted, breathing heavily. I hope he stays down because if he's able to get up, I'm done for. Karama walked over while clapping, very proud of what his daughter has done today. Very good show, Momo. Your strategy was definitely smart, but it had its flaws here and there, but you should know one thing. Momo looked extremely worried as she was still breathing heavily. And exactly what is that, father? Rama walked over to Kuabara, tapping him on the face gently as Kuabara was trying his best not to let his face flinch, showing that he was awake. Your opponent decided to let you win in the end. There was 2 times that he lied to you, allowing you to believe that your strategy was working. Momo had a sad look on her face while she was starting to get worried. When exactly was he lying to me? It seemed like my plan was working perfectly. Rama walked over and patted his daughter on the head, trying to give her some confidence back. Well, first off, it starts when you were making the vortex. The sand had no spirit energy in it, so even if you made a big enough dust cloud, he could see through it, so the pipe wouldn't have even mattered. You would have been able to sense the real you, not even having to worry about the pipe. Second, the stun gun didn't even really hurt him. He was actually able to make a layer of spirit energy right where you stabbed the stun gun, so he just faked react being shocked and decided then to just take a few steps backward, allowing you to set up your landmine. Momo was worried, knowing that her opponent lost the match on purpose to her so that she will now not be able to go to the entrance exam with her friends. Does that mean I automatically fail and I won't be able to go with the rest of my friends to the entrance exam? Rama smiled as he tried to reassure his daughter so she wouldn't give in to despair. Of course not. You've proven enough to me and the others that you have enough intelligence and wisdom to handle anything that comes your way, so I'm really proud of you. Momo started to cry tears of joy knowing that she passed and that her father is proud of her. Thank you so much, father. EA was annoyed with the emotional hour, but then was even more annoyed with Kuabara as he kicked him in the side trying to get him to stand up. You idiot, why did you go easy on her? The whole point of this exercise was to show them what exactly you should be expecting out there. By throwing your fight, you made this entire exercise pointless. Kuabara was rubbing his side in agony as he stood up. Technically, the whole exercise was fair. If we were all trying with intent to kill, we would automatically win, no hesitation. So us throwing our matches, or at least seeing what they come up with, is more effective than us just beating them half to death. EA was angry with such a lame excuse. All I know is next time when we're training the kids to deal with life and death situations, you will not be part of the exercise, or so help me, I will beat you up myself. Yusuke walked in between the both of them, separating them. Now, if we can complain about his actions later, we still have 2 fights left, and technically the most difficult fights left, so Tsuyu, Baku, do your last game of rock, paper, scissors and get it done quick. Both of them played their last game of rock, paper, scissors. After at least 5 games, they were finally able to get a winner. It was Tsuyu, who was automatically extremely nervous looking at the 2 remaining opponents. EA seemed to still be pissed about the previous fight as she did not want to fight against Karama because he seemed to be a lot smarter than her. It was a very difficult decision until she decided to choose between the 2 lesser evils. I choose to fight against you, Karama. I'm ready for anything you can throw at me, you thieving fox. Karama smiled as he walked into position, watching everybody else get to a safe distance away. I'm truly sorry for what's going to happen to you. It's true that I might not be the most physically powered, but I do make up for it with intelligence and wisdom and major insight on my opponents. Tsuyu was sweating bullets, but she knew that she was close to the water and was going to use that to her advantage, but she wanted to make sure she kept constant eye contact with her opponent and watch for any sudden movements. Trust me, I know that if it was up to me, I would have chosen one of the earlier opponents, but I got stuck between 2 evils, one that doesn't care if he kills me and a brainiac that doesn't know the word impossible. Rama folded his arms behind his back, seeming to be letting his guard down. I completely understand your logic. What do you truly think that you'll be able to do to win against me? Bakugo realized that Karama was going to try to play mind games with Tsuyu, so he tried to put a stop to do it. Don't listen to him. He's trying to get into your head and throw you off your game. Believe in yourself just like how the rest of us believe in our chance at victory. Tsuyu was surprised that Bakugo was trying to help her, but it also is what she needed. She realized she needed to focus on her plan to get to the water before the battle began. Thank you, Bakugo. Thanks to you, I was able to calm my nerves, and now I'll be able to win this battle, so you better make sure to win your fight as well so you can join us at UA. Rama smiled happy seeing that all of them were trying to help each other. Well, at least one of them are able to. As he looks towards the unconscious Izuku and his battered and bruised daughter Momo, it's definitely nice knowing that all of you care about each other's mental state, but it wouldn't be great to let your friends distract you. Keep your eyes on me at all time. And that's where I'm going to end it off this time, guys, but I still have a few things to say, so don't click off the video just yet. First off, I want to say thank you to all of those who are still here from the beginning. I know that it's been a couple of months since I've uploaded a video, and I know that you all wanted to leave, but I thank you for staying. Second is, I know that you're disappointed that this first video coming back isn't All For One or Hormone Deku. I didn't want to use any of the heavy hitters yet because I wanted to put out these trial ones to see how many of you are still here. Third, but definitely not least, do know that I will be putting out a community poll later, so you might want to check that out. But with all that said, I'm out this time, guys. Peace.